Hello everybody, it's Pigsy People here again. We're just going to continue the story. So we continue our story with, Deku getting home and then going to sleep. Then the next day, Deku goes back to school and of course does homework, assignments, learns, all that good stuff. Until like a week later, when All Might shows up, shocking everyone in the class. Yeah, so after All Might enters the thing and everyone gets all excited, then he explains why he's here, to like teach them how to be like hero theatrics and hero work, not just learning how to do it. Basically, physical training. And so, All Might then explains what they're doing: hero versus villains. Villains hides a bomb, and the heroes goes to stop the bomb. And then he says to grab their hero outfits after their. Then he says to go grab their hero outfits, of course, because everyone was wondering when they'd get their hero outfits after mandatorily needing to put one in. And then he shows them it, and then they all grab theirs and put them on. Now let's talk about what Deku's wearing. I'd say he wore like a full spandex suit, and like a jacket and some shoulder pads on his shoulders and knees. His shoes were like big bulky boots, like big and bulky. And then he has a visor that like can darken and has X-ray vision and all that good stuff that everyone will need, basically any situation. And he puts his hair into a ponytail, and he has a mask. I think like Kakashi's mask, like that kind of mask. If you're wondering why he's wearing this, he was thinking that if he has all this other stuff, like he has an ability to teleport, how good would that teleport ability if he could teleport like legit anywhere? Like darkness, he can see. Not darkness, thermared, basically anywhere he can see. So he can teleport you. Because he's learned that if he can just see you, he can hit you. He can, teleport you. Anyways, that's basically Deku's hero outfit. Then Deku walks over to Ochako, does the exact same thing he did in the original, blushes, comments on the tightness of the outfit, and that's really it. Then Ida shows up and says that his outfit looks cool. While Deku says that his is even cooler because it's a full set of armor instead of just spandex and a jacket. That's it. Yeah. So Deku, after walking to... Yeah, then Deku walked over to All Might and, also got instructed on what team he was getting. He got Ochako, and it's Ochako and Deku again, like it's always been. And so... And it's also Baku and Ida. So they're gonna fight. Again. In a different timeline. But anyways. So they all get in their positions. Of course, Baku puts the bomb all the way at the top. And start. All Might says. Then Deku runs in with Ochako. And then he can hear... Then you can hear Baku go, blowing up everything, getting over to Deku. Because, he still doesn't like him. He's just like, it's still Baku though, so he still wants the hands with Deku. And so Baku slides across the wall. Well, Deku, as soon as he slides across the wall, snaps Ochako with Bakugo, and then spin kicks Bakugo into the wall. And then Deku says to Ochako to get over to the bomb. It's probably at the top floor, he says. And then she's like, thumbs up. Then she skedaddles over to where Ida is and the bomb. So Bakugo gets out of the rubble after being slammed right through the wall from that kick. Then Bakugo tries to blow up Deku, but Deku snaps her position again. So Bakugo blows up is a wall. Then Deku, I guess, then grabs Bakugo by his waist and then suplexes him into the ground. Then he spins back around, grabs his face like, and then tosses him. And then Deku claps in different directions, making Bakugo still fly towards Deku, and then Deku suplexes, does like like a wrestling move where you catch a guy and you spin them and you slam him to the ground. And then Deku gets up and then does a really big kick to Bakugo's side, so he goes through another wall. Then after Bakugo receives that mean-ass combo, he spits out blood. Not blood, I meant to say spit. He spits out spit. He spit out spit. Then he gets up and then he sends a howitzer towards Deku, which actually hits him because Deku can't teleport with anything right now. He's out of juice, I guess. Because that mean combo. So Deku gets hit by it and slams against the wall. Then Bakugo proceeds to try to do another one. But Deku claps out of the way, but Bakugo predicts it, spins, and slams an explosion right to Deku's side. But surprising to Bakugo, Deku was behind him again. Then he jumped and did a back kick to Bakugo's side. And then he runs over to where Bakugo is, like he runs with the kicked body. And then he goes under him and then like upward kicks him into the upwards through the ceiling, through two ceilings. And then Deku snaps himself with a piece of cement, and then kicks Bakugo over to the other side of the room he just entered. Then Deku uses his upper body strength to spin himself back up, because he caught himself on the hole he just made and span himself back up there. Then Bakugo, feeling a bit angry, but feeling absolutely furious, he pulls his gauntlet pin immediately. Like, he doesn't build it up, he just freaking immediately pulls it. And then Deku can't do anything against that, so he gets point blank hit. And of course that burned his jacket straight off, and a couple of his spandex arm, and both his spandex arms are gone. And now he's shirtless, because that's how big the explosion was. And then Deku double claps, like he claps with a boulder and then with Bakugo, and then he kicks back and grabs Bakugo's jaw, then slams him through the ground again. Then he jumps over, grabs Bakugo's legs, basically throws, then does a whole squat position, but then chucks Bakugo up, and then he uses a lot of his leg strength to punch himself up, basically push himself up, and then punch Bakugo straight through every single ceiling until they get to the top ceiling, where Deku just spins and then kicks Bakugo straight out of the building. Then he claps with Ida, who he barely, basically instantly, blink of an eye, basically saw him right next to the bomb, clapped, and then slams right against the bomb with his shoulder. Basically, hero team wins. All Might then yells out. With Bakugo still flying out, he saves himself and lands on a different building. And then Bakugo hears that and yells. And then Ida gets shocked and confused how he's a bit in the air, how he's all the way up into the ceiling, but then Deku double claps and switches him with the bomb, so Ida doesn't take a big tumble. And then Deku goes on his back and wins, I guess. And then they have to take Deku. Osaka has to pick him up because, He just got hit with 3 point-blank explosions. So, that's gonna hurt. So after Deku gets better, he sees that sees everyone's battles and says they're all cool. And then everything wraps up, and that's it. Then I guess everyone goes home. Everyone goes home, and then that's it. Another week later, Aizawa says they're going to the USJ, and then gives everyone their permission slips. They all get signed, and then they all sit. Then they all crowd up on the bus and sit. Then everyone explains whose quirk is strongest, like they always do, and everyone says that it's probably like both Bakugo and Todoroki. They don't mention Deku's because like not as like powerful as everyone else's. He's just better at using it. Everyone just keeps talking to each other until the bus ride ends. And then Deku, I guess, gets off the bus and then walks in. Oh yeah, then everyone gets there, and then the Black Hole Lady explains why quirks can be dangerous as well, not just cool. Then she explains the USJ until they all look down and see a hole open and revealing Shigaraki. Of course, they don't know it's Shigaraki, but we know it's Shigaraki. Then they're all shocked, and Aizawa jumps down and goes to fight them, telling everyone to stay there. Which, of course, Deku in this timeline does stay there because he's not like that right now, because he's just a normal Deku. And then he gets teleported through a hole after Bakugo and Kirishima go to smack Iwagiri. And then he's about to hit the water until he sees, luckily, 3 beach chairs at the boat. So he snaps one of them, and then snaps both Mineta and Tsuyu onto the boat, which they're all like, "Whoa, huh?" And then they're like, "Tell Deku that was awesome, and thanks for the help." And so now they're dry, basically. And then they look down, and then they see there's a bunch of villains waiting for them to show up. But then they can see the look of confusion on their faces in the water. But so they don't notice them. All 3 of them sit on the boat until Deku looks over to the side of the boat and sees them attack the chairs, and then get even more confused. So Deku uses this time to pick up Mineta and toss him really far away, with Mineta screaming. And then Deku then throws Tsuyu farther than he threw Mineta. Then he does this thing. He snaps to Mineta. He snaps Tsuyu to where he was, then snaps Mineta to where he is, then snaps. Basically, he just keeps clapping. Basically, he uses a lot of his energy just so the villains won't notice them. And then all 3 of them land safely out of the water zone. And then they both yell at him for doing that, because could have just ran them by them. And then Mineta says that he could have just used his quirk for that. But then Deku says, "What?" Then Mineta explains his quirk, that his balls are sticky, and that he could have just kept throwing a lot of them, and Deku could have just did the exact same thing he just did, but without throwing them. Anyways, doesn't matter anymore. Then they see Aizawa get absolutely pummeled by the Nomu, which Deku then snaps the Nomu with Aizawa, so Aizawa's above the villain, while the villain is on the ground. And then Deku snaps Aizawa with himself. Then he stomps the Nomu's head in. Real big stomp. Of course, the Nomu doesn't react and grabs Deku's leg, but Deku, before getting his leg crushed, he snaps with a villain, which then their leg gets crushed, and they scream, and then they get tossed into like a whole boulder of other villains. And then Deku like keeps his hands close, knowing dang well that Nomu's fast. Because if it could take out Aizawa that quick, it could most definitely take him out quick. And so the Nomu goes to punch him, Deku barely noticing it and snapping with Shigaraki. But of course the Nomu is unallowed to hit Shigaraki, so its fist stops right at it. Then Shigaraki backs up and then screams at Deku because he almost killed him. So then Shigaraki like screams at him for stop hacking. Then he asks Korigiri to teleport Deku somewhere. But of course, Deku just switches Korigiri in his positions. And then basically it's just Deku barely dodging the Nomu and Korigiri. And every single time Shigaraki tries to get him, he just claps behind him and then just kicks him right in the face. So the Shigaraki just can't keep up with him. And so Deku's just trying to live. So he's basically just distracting the two big guys, all three of the big guys, and basically just pummeling Shigaraki in the face. Then Deku kicks off Shigaraki's face hand, and then Shigaraki lands and then gets really mad. And this actually makes his quirk go out of control. Not to the limits it's gonna go, but pretty out of control, where the ground starts to decay. And then the Nomu actually gets decayed accidentally by Shigaraki. The Nomu like crashes to the ground dead. Then Shigaraki yells in more anger, but he knows he can't fight Deku. He can't do anything now. The thing that was supposed to kill All Might just died to his own hands. But before Shigaraki can like get his chance to leave, Deku like claps Korigiri like all the way up the stairs again. Then Deku rushes Shigaraki and just starts wailing on him. And keeps disorienting Shigaraki by clapping and spinning and dodging. So Shigaraki is just getting his actual shit kicked in. His legs getting... Deku even gets annoyed at Shigaraki, so he basically trips Shigaraki, then grabs him with his two arms, and then he jumps, and then kicks Shigaraki in the face, breaking his jaw. Then Deku teleports Shigaraki with himself, with, the same thing that happened with Baku, where he was spinning away from him, but now he's spinning towards him, and then does the exact same move he did on Bakugo. And then then before Shigaraki can get him, he claps him with him, so Shigaraki accidentally just reaches for air, and then Deku just basically does a push-up, pushing Shigaraki into the air, and then Deku just jumps at him, and then slams him right back down. That's basically what he does. And then Shigaraki just slams him to the ground in extreme pain. And before Deku can finish the job by doing a massive curve stomp to the face, Kurogiri finally shows up and saves Shigaraki and teleports him away. And then Kurogiri leaves. And so Deku stomps the ground and basically breaks all of the cement under it. And then, yeah. That's a bit boring, but, I don't think the Nomu or Shigaraki or Kurogiri would have caught up to what he was doing, to just teleporting. And Shigaraki doesn't have a lot of battle IQ right now, so he would not be able to react to Deku at all. And then Deku, I guess just does a big exhale and then sits and is happy that he won. And then everyone cheers Deku's name because, he basically single-handedly just saved them all. And then Deku smiles even more. Of course, all the pro heroes show up eventually, and then see that Deku handled the situation and uh, congratulate him on his success. So does All Might, give him a big ol' hug because he's very glad that there was someone that could handle that, whatever was there. And then Deku gives a description on what the villain and the Nomu looked like, and the Korigiri looked like. So, and they're actually pretty spot on. So they're basically pretty spot on. And then Deku just gets to go home for a whole week. That's it. That's all I wanted to really cover. Anyways, like, subscribe, hit the post notification bells if you feel like it. That's it. Goodbye.